quarterback position last year.
But let's just say that they don't. Let's just say the Cardinals pass on him, that it's all a smokescreen, or they fall in love with Nicky Bosa, whatever it is. If Kyler is there at 4, then could you see John Gruden and the Raiders take it?
I could absolutely see it happen. 100%.
So if he's there, you think that might be what they want to do?
Yes, I think that's what they should do. Because, I mean, we all know that quarterback position, you need a difference maker. You don't need a passenger. And I don't think John Gruden is sold on Derek Carr.
Tim Brown, my guy. Tim Brown, Chris Carter, Michael Irvin, high school All-Americans, USA Today, All-Americans.
Same year?
Same year. All-Americans in college, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Miami.
And then Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame, All-Pro. Man,
Wow.
we've been linked together for a long time. Great guy. One of the best all-time guys.
Nice. All right, let's talk some Odell Beckham. The star wide receiver stood with his BFF Jarvis Landry and his new quarterback Baker Mayfield yesterday, waxed a little poetic about all things winning with this Browns team. The three hoping to form one of the most exciting offenses in the NFL. And while Odell did say he was shocked when he found out he was being traded out of New York, he's more than ready for his next and his newest chapter in Cleveland.
I'm excited to be a part of something like this, a team that has been ascending and kind of just changing this culture. I'm starting with him and him changing the culture into a winning culture. That's all I care about is winning. As it all settled in, I'm very excited about this, and I think that it's going to be It's going to be one of the best things that ever happened to me in my life. At the end of the day, I know where I'm at in life. I don't need to be in New York. I don't need to be in LA. I could be in Sheboygan, Wisconsin. It doesn't matter where I'm at. I've created this what I would call a legacy. So it never really crossed my mind going to Cleveland or worrying about marketing or worrying about any of that. I care about football. I care about winning. All the extra. I didn't step into this game to be famous. I didn't. That's just what fell into my lap. But we talked about legendary. We talked about a legacy. We talked about gold jackets. That's our conversations. It never was about no money. It never was about any of that. It's about being a legend. And I think that, this is our everyday life. We do this every single day. Y'all come in here and we ask questions and we're up here answering. But I think this moment is going to be more iconic than we all realize.
Well, they're certainly off to a good start in Cleveland. What are your expectations, Chris Canty, for Odell and what that offense can do in Cleveland?
Well, I expect this team to compete for the division, and that's saying a lot because the Cleveland Browns as an organization haven't won the division since 1989. So we're talking about 30 years. That's how bad it's been. But, I mean, in terms of this team and the collection of talent that they have having the potential to do that, I mean, I think that we all have to agree from an individual standpoint, there's a lot to like with the pieces on this team, but they still have to come together as a team. And so that's why I use the word potential because they haven't done it yet. That's always one of those things that Bill Parcells used to say, when we use the word potential with a player, that just means they haven't done it yet. The Cleveland Browns as a team haven't produced at that level. So I do like the direction that they're going. I think that John Dorsey is doing what every general manager does when you find a young quarterback, and that's put talent around him. You try to support him. So I think there was some synergy between Freddie Kitchens, who was the offensive coordinator once they fired Todd Haley middle of the season. You saw that they were able to have some sustained success in the last third of the season. So I think that's a step in the right direction. But I mean, this is his first rodeo. So, I mean, you try to give him all the talent that he needs, all the pieces that he needs, and give him the best chance to have success. But again, they have to go out there and do it on the field. I mean, the perception around the league is that this should be a team that contends for the AFC North crown. But it's one of those things that you have to keep a close eye on because you don't know how the young players are going to deal with those expectations.
Yeah, I can understand that. And Coach Parcells, man, you and I have learned an awful lot from him. But also, I had a coach tell me, Chris, once I see you do something, that ain't your potential no more. I seen you do it. My job as a coach is to make you repeat that, either exercise or behavior again. That's what good coaches do. So let's just talk about what they did do, because I thought what they did in changing the culture last year, man, they fired the head coach, the offensive coordinator. Offensive coordinator thought he was getting ready to take over the team. Oh, no, you turn in your badge also. So what Freddie Kitchens was able to overcome, well, let's give him credit, man. I mean, how bad they were. How many double-digit losing seasons they had in a row. How many times they had top 5 picks in a row. So,
and how bad, just real quick, what bad shape they were in, forget previous seasons, that season. They had lost games every way possible. How about we miss kicks? How about we lose in overtime? How about we tie the first damn game of the year? We fire our coach. So even in the midst of that year, yeah, they had a couple wins, but it felt like, oh my God, same old Browns once again.
And the reason why I'm more optimistic is not only I know the culture what it used to be, and for them to get it changed. And I did a game last year, week number 14. I was in the building. I was at practice. I was talking to the players. Now, the reason why I have more faith is because the feeling I got that week, what they decided to do in the offseason as far as keep Freddie Kitchens, but they only added a handful of players. This is not like wholesale free agency where this team was bad last year and they went out and tried to hire a bunch of guys to try to. No, it's not like that. But I believe a lot of people in the media are trying to put them in that category. Man, they were playing some of the best football last year. They would have been a dangerous football team. Baltimore didn't want to see them. That was a game late in the year Baltimore had to win. That was an exciting game. That came down to the last possession of the football game. So I'm excited because I've seen Odell. I've seen him play with bad quarterback play. I've seen Baker Mayfield in a half a season play outstanding. So this is not only on potential. I've seen some guys do some things. I think their defense is underrated. I think their offensive line, and man, Kareem Hunt, the second half of the season, when he becomes eligible to play for a team that likes running the football, I believe that collection of 26, 27-year-old young stallions, I believe that's a winning formula that they have in
And they're not going to have to do it all offensively. That defensive line, so you have Myles Garrett on one edge, Olivier Vernon on the other.
Yeah, people won't talk about Myles Garrett was there in that press conference. He was the only defensive player with the other 3 offensive players.
I also thought it was also a signifier of what a big moment this was. Hey, Myles Garrett, come over too. Quarterback, come over. Jarvis, obviously, yours buddy. We're going to bring our highest paid offensive player other than Odell, Jarvis there, our quarterback, face of the team, and probably the best player, maybe the best player on the team, certainly the best player on the defense.
He might be the best player in the NFL people don't know about.
And Myles Garrett, absolutely. #1 pick of a draft, and people weren't like, what were you doing? Even though there were quarterbacks there. Like, oh, we get it with Myles Garrett. So their defensive line, Myles Garrett, Olivier Vernon, Sheldon Richardson as well, and then Larry Ogunjobi, the guy I know you like, was a 3rd-round pick last year. That's their defensive front. I think Denzel Ward is an excellent player. I didn't understand the pick when it happened. I was sure they were going to take Chubb, the pass rusher, and then Denzel Ward was superb last season. So you're not going to have to beat a team just with your firepower and offense. This is a team that really has all, as Freddie Kitchens said, on paper, an immense amount of talent. Now, that's the point you're making.
Yes.
Is that the potential is these guys all together on paper. We do have to see it on the field. But in April, all you got is the on paper. And on paper, the Browns' expectations, in my eyes, are exactly where they should be. 10-plus wins and the division.
Yeah, and that's what the over-under is set on by Vegas, and Vegas is not in the business of losing money. So the Cleveland Browns are on their way. They're an ascending team. So I would absolutely agree with everything that Odell Beckham Jr. said in the press conference, but I also listened to what their head coach Freddie Kitchens said, which is, yeah, hey, great, we got a good team on paper. That's outstanding. But it's my job to make all the individual pieces come together collectively and have that translate to success on the field. And my thing is this. When the perception around a team changes and the expectations change, then the pressure changes as well. Cleveland has played a lot of meaningless football in the last decade. So this is a different feeling inside that locker room and in that building in terms of what they're trying to go out there and accomplish. And I will say this, in any season, if you can consider it a successful season, even the year that I was a part of the Super Bowl Giants in Super Bowl 46, when you have those type of expectations as an organization and you know that there's going to be some adversity, when people have expectations, the pressure from when you go through that adversity is that much more intense, and you just don't know how young players are going to respond to it. That's my concern with this young group of team, and there's a lot of big personalities in our locker room. So a lot of responsibility is going to be on Freddie Kitchens and that coaching staff being able to maintain that. I think Adam Henry being in that wide receivers room gives you a good chance to manage Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry. But again, in any season, there's going to be some adversity. How does this young group respond to that adversity when you have these new expectations on the organization.
It's still a far cry from the team that went 1-31 in the 2 seasons prior.
Yeah, but let's have a winning season. Let's have a winning season.
All right, Chris, thank you. Got to take a break. Coming up, are KD and Kyrie a lock to team up in New York? That's ahead on First Things First.
Oh, mark it down.